everybody doing? Pleasant Friday, September the 18th, 2021, to each and every one of you guys. It's always a blessing to be able to talk with you guys, and today I come with another pretty strange off the wall topic. It's two topics actually rolled up in one. First one is the Gypsy life of John Fury. And if you look at the profile picture for this video, you'll see Tyson Fury carrying a Gypsy caravan. Okay, that's what Gypsies live in, portable pulling cart. And even though Tyson Fury, as lives in a house, and his wife, and some of the other Furies have kind of gone into housing and living into housing. John Fury still continues that lifestyle. He lives out of a caravan basically, and travels different places and lives among nature. So he's still a gypsy. That's what he is, and that's what he does. And he literally lives off the land. He doesn't really buy a lot of stuff. He hunts for his own food and all of that. So that's very interesting. I saw an interview with him via, was it BT Sports, I think it was, or one of them. And I didn't realize he lives so simply. He lives a very, very simple life. And you gotta love the guy, man. It's fantastic. After prison, he went back to living the gypsy lifestyle. He doesn't really do well amongst people. He doesn't like to get in fights and stuff. He's very violent. So he said, I need to live by myself and just continue this gypsy lifestyle, because he's all about fighting. He trains right now one of the Furies, his youngest son, and that's about it. And this guy's produced Tyson Fury, great fighter, as we all know. And I just thought, I didn't realize that Tyson Fury came from a different lifestyle, Just to give you guys an example, because gypsies are seen as nobodies, they're the trash of the trash. You know what they're like? They're like trailer park trash, they call them in America. The white people live in trailers. Trailers, again, is kind of like a thing that's mobile, a mobile home, right? And it's very strange, but the only difference between trailer park people who live in trailer parks and gypsies is they're not necessarily moving from place to place to place. Gypsies move place to place to place. Trailer park people may end up in trailer parks and stay in one place for most of their lives. But maybe these people are descendants of gypsies, and we see gypsies all over the world. There are different variations of them. People who live in these mobile homes. And it's so strange, that people look down on these people. But it's just a totally different lifestyle. Of course, the gypsies were involved with circuses and with entertainment on the road. So the gypsies are entertainers, but they're also fighters. Gypsies can fight. And it's just, I see parallels in America with this thing, with the poorer white folks who also can fight, and they fight themselves. Narcotics and drugs, morphine and that stuff kind of tore into them. But, you got those people, and then of course we got the people in the projects where they actually build housing for those people, and those people are seen as the lowest of the low. They're seen as trash as well, which is sad. Some of the best people come out of those places. But anyway, I just thought I'd talk about that, because I always listen to Tyson Fury. He says he's a gypsy, and that really and truly nobody really backs gypsies. And it now makes sense to me. Tyson Fury is a gypsy. He didn't live life in a house. He never had a home, really. He now has a home, but he lived, in a mobile home that you actually pull the home and go wherever you need to go to the next stop, and you're always on the move. And I guess gypsies were always on the move, not just for entertainment purposes, but also, of course, because people wanted to kill them, and they had to fight their way out of situations. That's why a lot of gypsies know how to fight. Besides entertaining and other things that they do, they really know how to scrap. And John Fury actually, when why he ended up in prison is because I think he hurt a guy so bad. I think he either maimed him or hurt him really badly or killed him or whatever. And so he ended up in prison again because, insults being hurled at him and his forefathers and stuff like that, because he was a gypsy. And I never really thought about it, but There are all kinds of gypsies, right? The Armenian gypsies, you know about that. You've heard about, uh, gypsies. They're all over the world, and it's a cultural thing, really. And gypsies don't care. They tell a lot of jokes. People would say that sometimes their morals are questionable. Even though John Fury, he's a guy who believes in Jesus. It's very interesting. Again, you look at the guys who are in trailer parks and stuff. They believe in Jesus more or less too. Some of them go to church and stuff. I see the similarities between the gypsies and them, and maybe they are descendants of gypsies. Maybe they were gypsies, and maybe that's why they get treated the way they do. It's just really weird though. But I just thought it was very interesting because that's not your normal stable lifestyle growing up. That's not a middle class kind of guy. This is a guy that came from difficulty where people actually hate them, hate gypsies, and look down on them. So thought I'd throw that in there. We always look at systematic racism or cultural racism. We don't realize there are people who are marginalized. I mean, Donald Trump got to. I mean, I'm just talking a little politics here, but Donald Trump got to the poor white people because they were being neglected. They were not being. If you're living in a trailer park and you don't want to live in a trailer park, you want to live a better life. I mean, that's tough. So I mean, we always seem to see things only through one lens, and there's so many people who are underprivileged out here, and it's just not cool. So, but even if you're not underprivileged, maybe you live in a trailer. Because my uncle lived in a trailer park as well, him and his wife, and so and there's no shame in that. There should be no shame in living in a trailer park. So what? It's a mobile home. I wanted to actually live in a mobile home once upon a time. I could go anywhere I want. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, man, this is what you need. I'm gonna catch you guys later. Peace out. Oh, shit. I had another part I had to do. So let me talk about it. So perception about a fighter that looks unbeatable. I remember when Roy Jones Jr. was in his heyday, he looked unbeatable. Nobody could imagine anyone beating Roy Jones Jr. Mike Tyson in his heyday, he looked unbeatable. It didn't look like nobody could beat him, right? But after Mike Tyson got beaten, and after Roy got beaten, everybody's saying he came out of his prime. Because perception for some people is reality, when reality says you can be in your prime and somebody solved your puzzle, somebody's able to figure out how to beat you, and you're still in your prime, you're still the same fighter, but you've been solved. Somebody solved you. As they say, you've been exposed. And I think what happened with Tyson and what happened with Roy is people figured out the puzzle of Tyson, and some people figured out the puzzle of Roy, and that's why Roy's kept on losing certain fights. Because if you look at how Roy got stopped in several fights, it's the same way. It's the same kind of punches. It's the same setup. And that tells me that people figured out, okay, Roy, he's exposed to this, he's open to this. Before that, nobody knew, so nobody knew how to stop him. Nobody knew how to beat him, So, until Antonio Tarver did it, nobody really knew how to do it. And so I don't think that a fighter is, any fighter's unbeatable. But can you figure out or solve that fighter, and so that other fighters can use that blueprint? Manny Pacquiao. Before Marquez knocked him out, and Timothy Bradley beat him, he was seen as in his prime and all of that stuff. And as soon as, Marquez stopped him, it was like he's not in his prime anymore and blah, 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 blah. But truth be told, Pacquiao was in his prime up to the Brandon Rios fight. He was in his prime. It's just that he didn't look infallible anymore. Marquez had solved him. Timothy Bradley had solved him. So I'm just saying this just to let people know that it's not that a fighter is unbeatable. It's that nobody has been able to figure out how to beat them. Okay? It's not that they are unbeatable. I'm sure, every single fighter out there can at some point be beaten. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, that's what I got. What you need. Peace, people.